we're not saying that the breed is nearly as important as the biological type. Kit kind of already showed you some examples of cows. Those cows that he's got out there are going to work in this kind of country too, okay? Not every breed, because it's a physiological, biological type, not every breed's going to fit. We studied out many different breeds to try and find what we thought would best focus or fit our focus of low maintenance with the strong maternal traits, truly maternal traits, which we've decided is what? Fertility, raising a calf every year, right? And our heat tolerant seed stock program includes that whole list. Red Angus base, pretty well on all of us. That's been doing this. The Mashona, the Romo Sinuano, we'll talk about each of these little. Centipole, which some of you are familiar with. South Pole, some of you are familiar with. And then we're making some composites of all of these. So we'll go through this a little more. Basically, what we've been trying to accomplish, and you can see there's some black ones there if you want. We can color them real quick. But slick-hided Red Angus females, what my goal has been since the beginning. And these are some half Mashonas that are down there in Texas. This Richard Luciano's one of our cooperators. I think they're half Mashona Red Angus females that he's produced down there. So Mashona, we've got Zimbob in our semen catalog. That's 100% Mashona bull. And there's one of his daughters, a yearling. You're going to get to see a few more Zimbob calves over there. Brandon used that bull AI. And that's him pictured in eastern Oklahoma. What do you see right there on his side? Looks like fingers running down his side. What do we call them?
Happy lines.
Happy lines. All right. So what are some of the traits? Why are we even looking at Mashona? Well, I'll tell you, Kit made the reference to it earlier. And we did a big tour like this, 2,000 miles, when we was doing our fescue country tour before we started our Missouri sale in 2013. So in January, well, we had all that time. We figured out we're going to make a heat-tolerant composite using Mashona, and we're going to eliminate all the negatives that of the heat-tolerant breeds that we see now. Oops, did I say that? Why did you say you wanted moderate size? What do you see otherwise? Do you see some that are too big? We like loose skin. That's heat, okay? But do we get docked if there's too much loose skin at the sale barn? Oh, how about disposition? Is that ever a problem? How about late maturing? I mean, what's profitable if she calves at 2 the first time and she has one every year after that? If we have to wait till she's 3, we got more growth and time into it, right? What about carcass quality? Is that anything that sometimes we get paid for? I mean, it may not be a factor for you. I don't know. You've got to run the numbers, pencil it out, and it all boils down to dollars and cents. If we can make dollars with it, it makes sense, doesn't it? All right? Okay. What are some of the traits? Check. We said moderate size. Hardiness, non-selective grazers. We'll talk a little more about that. Good udders. That was on there. Longevity. Kit talked a lot about that, didn't it? The longer we can have that cow in production. She's already paid herself off. We can keep making money off of her. That's good. Parasite and pest resistance. Check. Ability to maintain fertility, coming into heat, even during undernutrition. We were talking about poor quality forage, weren't we? Where were Mashonas developed or evolved, grew originally? Zimbabwe. That's Eastern Africa. Okay, they have a monsoon rainy season for about 2 or 3 months is when they grow all their grass. And then it shuts off. And they graze that for the next 10 months. She has to she has to first get bred. Probably, what do you think she's probably, if it's a natural system and what we've talked about already, when do you think she's probably getting bred? During that rainy season, right? She's calving, getting bred back then. But now, 9 to 10 months, she's carrying it through a really poor quality time. And these animals were developed, where they had to carry that through that lowest plane of nutrition. I don't know, what are we talking about? When Kit made the comment, bred cow can go down, but she needs to be back on an increasing at calving. Well, these animals have been doing that for eons, and the quality of that, it's very lignous forage, kind of like what we're dealing with, Bahia grass, all that stuff. I've got old fescue, rank fescue, and so some of you guys with the warm season grass, I mean, out west, they do that kind of thing too. So these cattle are working that way. But the reason they needed to be an aggressive grazer, those were herded out. They didn't have poly wires and water and all that stuff. So they took them out of the corral during the day when the lions were sleeping, and then they would herd them, and they'd bring them back in and put them in the corral at night. And they had to eat all they were going to eat in the day for, 2-4 hours, something like that. Sometimes, just depended. So they had to be aggressive and eat quickly. And you'll see some pictures of that. We talked about hair, slick hair. Moshona, I'm not going to call it a slick hair because I don't want to confuse slick hair gene, but they got short hair. And we kind of want to just distinguish a little bit what we're talking about there. Heat, humidity, and we're saying fescue tolerance because of the poison in fescue. You guys are far enough south here, probably don't have fescue too much, do you? No? Okay, but northern, some of us up on the other end of the state, you probably do, huh? Okay. Now, the Moshonas may have a longer gestation period, but they'll do that without an increased birth weight. Kind of interesting trait. They can cook them in the oven just a little longer without them getting too big, and that's kind of a unique trait. Usually if we get much longer than the normal gestation period, but we've had some of these straight Moshonas go 292, 295 days and still have a 65-pound calf, so it's kind of interesting. Also, carcass quality, marbling is really good on the Moshonas. So this Moshona right here is the one we call Tarzan. He's in the Seaman catalog. That's in South Texas, down around Kingsville. And that picture, we sold him to Stephen Lucafar. Some of you have heard of him. He had the Star composite. He's been a Stockman's grass farmer and stuff, but he bought that bull from us. And we really like the phenotype of him more so than a lot of the Moshona. A lot of them look a little discombobulated, but I like the phenotype of that bull. He produced Diamond, and that Diamond was a great herd sire for us. Then he produced He-Man, and we just got to see He-Man yesterday. And boy, he's looking really, really good. This cow is a daughter of Tarzan, so Diamond and her are half sibs. That calf right there is out of the He-Man bull. So just a little bit of line breeding, 37.5% Tarzan back on that calf right there. But look at the lines on that cow. Straight line, deep, got that wedge. I'm really impressed. Now we call, the Moshonas have 3 different breed colors. Black, bay, we're going to call that a bay because it's a red skin, but a darker hair. And you'll see a little of that on Diamond. His mama's a red Angus cow, but you see that darkerness there. And this bull's more consistent all the way through. He looks really red the way the light hits him. It's kind of a neat concept. But we've got some of these cows that carry the red gene after their mama, that are sibs. Okay, Romo Sinuano. That's a Spanish breed that's been over since Columbus came over in the 1500s. I know it was 1492 up here, but down south in Colombia and whatnot, it was the 1500s. He brought in cattle down in there. And so these cattle have been developed since in the lowlands of Colombia and Venezuela. Very swampy, equatorial heat, equatorial humidity, equatorial lignified, washy forages. You guys are pretty close compared to some of the states to be closer to the equator, aren't you? Well, these cattle, I think, have a place here. They actually brought them over to the States and worked them over in Brookville, Florida, and did some research on them. But unfortunately, what happens to most breeds that come over in the States, after the researchers and the university people get a hold of them, what happens? Bigger, taller, longer, more growth, everything that they select for, well, they kind of ruined it. So we've been trying to find the old line of some of this stuff, and there's some in Mexico I'd love to get, but boy, it's just too hard to get it coordinated. I don't care about going across the border down there where they're located, but notice all these traits. What else? So why not just stay Moshona? We checked those boxes a while ago with Moshona, didn't we? Developed, adapted to subtropical climates, harsh environment, large parasite infestations, ticks. Another reason for loose skin, I think, that flexibility of skin, I'll show you a picture, is that they can kind of flick off flies. They can keep the thicker also to help, and they secrete some They got more hair follicles. I think they can secrete some oils and different stuff that keeps them more parasite resistant. But these cattle are more adapted kind of to this type of climate maybe than the Mashona. Mashona may be more of an arid deal if they're only getting their rain 3 months a year, but they handle they're aggressive grazers. They're able to take a lot of poor quality forage and convert it. So it's kind of the combination. That's why we're looking to bridge that gap and bring these all together. So very parasite, pest resistant. Now they carry a slick-haired gene. You might have heard about that with Centipole having a slick-haired gene, and also some of the South Pole would carry that. Lighter red hair color, which reflects sunlight, rather than absorbing. You've seen that probably if you've been heat wave. The local news weather guys will put out those T-shirts and test the temperature on it. Black's 150 degrees, red's 135, and a white T-shirt 115, something like that on a 100-degree day. Okay. Docility is another thing about the Romos that's important. I affectionately call them Romo. The 3 traits right here are all going to provide for less heat stress. Okay? So heat tolerant means you wouldn't be stressed during the heat. All of these things help with that. Is there any one of them that's a silver bullet? If you just got this, not necessarily. But if you get all those, then we're going to have some heat, humidity tolerance, and the ability to gain. If we're not stressed, they're going to gain. Okay? And I know we're not really into a gaining deal, but I want to show you an illustration of what I think, because Doug Marburger is our developer in Texas, our bull developer, and the first time a Mashona bull, or excuse me, a Romo Sinwano bull was sent to him, he made the comment that I've got in the middle of the day, I've got one bull that's out there grazing when the rest of them aren't. They're all shaded up and so on. And so I pulled out these Romo crossed bulls out of the 300 heat-tolerant bulls we had, compared it to the Red Angus, and they gained over 1/3 of a pound average daily gain better. These are the Romos. Got any of that in them. Slick-haired, docile, heat-tolerant. That's 24% increase on their total gain. Now, I don't know if this logic works, but it's what my mind was thinking about, and so I put it on here. If we could say that bulls like this, that are this heat tolerant and can gain, when compare that as a cow, let's say during her life, a year, 365 days, if she could gain 100 to 128 pounds more, that equals a body condition score or more. Now, what's it take? We already talked about it. Remember the picture? The little shorter cow that was fleshy and the one that was skinny as a rail. Which one was going to get bred back? Okay, if we've got the right package, moderate frame, all that, and we've got her heat tolerant, and they can gain because they're out there grazing, not shaded up during the day, and she can get bred back because she's put on the condition. You cannot starve an animal into production. Please don't hear what Kit said about he wants them to maintain what he's got. You can't starve those cows and expect them to produce. What you got to do is manage your forages and get the right type of an animal that will do it on your forages to make you the most profit. That's the message. Okay, so let's do just real quick that Jan Bonsma, and I might probably butcher his name. He's talking about shedding, early shedding. Means your animals are well adapted to their environment. They're going to have a good nutritional status, and they've got the correct hormonal balance. At some point, somebody's back here, I think, said, you draw a line on the sand, and on May 1st, I'm going to check the hair coats, and I'm going to say the worst 5 here are going to go to town because I need to get rid of somebody, and I'm going to keep the heifers out of these better ones, or whatever the decisions you're making. Okay, so, and we've been, and then the slick-haired has been from that research, and I made the comment about Centipole and Romo Sinwano being a 1% degree lower internal temp during the summer, okay, than normal hair coats, and I've already talked about that. And then South Pole by the Centipole component, you'll find some slick-haired in there. Okay, here's some pictures of some Romos. That's a straight Romo cow. Look at the guts. I mean, biological type, right? Now this is a younger cow. Oh, I don't know. She's a 19 model, so she's a 4-year-old. I think she's, oh, this picture, she's probably suckling a big old calf here in a minute. You'll see that. She, and this is a Generalissimo half Romo bull that's in the Seaman catalog. So Red Angus, both of these are half Red Angus, half Romo Sinuano. Here's some of those same, I think that's that same cow I just showed you. That's the calf she's suckling. And you may have seen, if you've seen any magazine articles that were published by Heather Thomas, written by Heather Thomas in the trade magazines, you'd see these pictures. But these is kind of where we were headed. When I say we, Aldi Witt and I were the original ones to pursue this Moshona and Romo deal. These are half Romo cows, quarter halves, what we call that, quarter Moshona, quarter Romo Sinuano, and half Red Angus. That's what these bulls are right there. There's that cow a while ago, G33. Oh, that other one's G23. Both of them look a lot the same. 33, and that diamond bull we talked about, that's their offspring. And that bull's going to be evaluated this Saturday in Texas, Lord willing. And he's a kind of a stud. That's when I had my envision of what we were going to produce. Diamond kind of helped fit that. And that type of a bull right there, when we was thinking of a quarter, half, that's what that bull is. Quarter Moshona, quarter Romo, half Red Angus. Okay? Now, so that Romo is a Spanish blood, Western Hemisphere, swampy conditions. Well, there's also other Spanish. If you were to think about what's some that were in this part of the country that's developed here for a long time, well, Corriente. Whatever way you want to say that, because Rob Pierce, he butchers it all the heck. I don't know. But notice what we've got here. Same list, isn't it? Basically the same list. Hardiness, moderate frame, all that stuff. Well, that's a straight Corriente cow that Rob has. That's a half Corriente, half Red Angus daughter. Is there anything wrong with that? Is that a marketable package? Yeah. And we've got some of the traits we want. I didn't ask you back here, do you think that's a marketable package? Okay, there's a half. Now, she's black. You make your choice. Black, half Corriente, half Angus, and that's a diamond son. So that one's quarter Romo, quarter Corriente, quarter Moshona, half Angus, Red Angus. And then here's just a quarter Corriente cow. So what you might be able to produce on some Red Angus, if you bought a half Corriente bull, half Red Angus bull, you can produce that. What do we say about biological type? She got the wedge shape. She got a nice udder. Okay. Now, one thing, they don't have maybe quite as slick a hair, I mean, they've got a short hair and they handle it, the heat and humidity, but they maybe don't slick off quite as much as like those Romos do. Okay. That slick hair gene is a unique thing. Centipole. This comes right off their website. That's been around for a long time. A two-breed cross supposed to be, but I talked to the president of the Centipole Association at one time, and he said they did he was retired or whatever from that, but he said they did a DNA test and found that the Centipole were actually about 20% Brahmin and a bunch of Criollo, Spanish blood. If you think about the St. Croix Island where they developed, that's a Spanish province, island, where it was those days, and they were covered up with it. And the Centipole has a very good knack for putting its stamp on colored animals and making them uniform color. They've got a good trait for that. And so they bred them up, if you will. And there was already some Brahmin on that St. Croix Island. And so that's how that ended up in those Centipole. So you might see a little more sheath in a Centipole sometimes, a little more dewlap. But that's the trait. There's a Centipole that one of our cooperators, and Richard Luciano, R2R Ranch, he got the Centipoles from Puerto Rico. He shipped some in, actually shipped them in on a ship. I think they landed in Galveston, and they are some good source Centipoles. I don't know that anybody in the States is going to have any better quality Centipoles that's going to meet our type of biological type. Same thing kind of goes for the South Pole. This is right off their website. Teddy Gentry is the one that developed the South Pole breed, and you can kind of see this right off their website, the traits that they expect out of them. That is a 25% Barzona, which is a composite breed of its own, 25% Hereford, 25% Centipole, like we said, it's a composite of its own, and 25% Red Angus. That's been a stabilized breed since 80s is when Teddy started it, and I think probably been pretty solidly breeding those back on themselves since 2000, if not before. Now, David Hall is a cooperator at Ozark Hills in West Plains, Missouri, and he's actually breeding some of those with making some more South Poles using PCC Red Angus and PCC Herefords, because David had both of those, and he's bought a set of really good Barzona. He said he picked out 50 cows out of 300 from a Barzona herd that was going out of business. So he's trying to extrapolate and make some more of those kind of cows using some PCC genetics. And there's PCC genetics in the original Red Angus that Teddy Gentry used as well, I think. Here is the lead off, the first ever one we sold, and he is in our semen catalog called Go Get 'em. He's in Virginia right now, but he's a pretty good looking rascal, isn't he? That's a slick haired look. You saw that in that Romo too, didn't you? On that one, that Kathmandu, the one I showed you, that slick hair, that lighter color. So, okay, good hair coats. We've been selecting for good hair coats. Hair shedding is moderate to highly heritable. PCC's been scoring hair coats for 30 years. Okay, and a 5-star is as good as it gets. 3-star is about average, and in hot, humid environments, you better be sorting for a 4 to 5 on hair coat. Okay, this is just a comparison here in this table. The Red Angus and the Red Angus Plus. Now, the Red Angus Plus I pulled those out, and that's that's anything from 1/16 to 1/4 Brahman, and I earmarked those over into and didn't put them into our heat tolerant group, but I designated. Now, there's a few in here that's less than the 16th. Maybe as max as 5% or less Brahman in here potentially. But when we come down and look at these guys, this is how many 5-star hair coats. I mean, 4s and 5s were pretty similar if you do all the math. What are we at? 95% here and 81% here, something like that. So it's not as much in the 4s and 5s. We've had good hair coats in our Red Angus for a long time, right? It's just we're kind of making them better for the heat in the south. And you notice 300% increase of 5-star hair coats on our heat tolerant bulls